Oh, I am live. Amazing. Great. I think looks like everyone's here. So sorry, excuse me for the, the interesting start. Let us get started. Let's get started right away. In fact, I have to remember to face this way. So it is today's class is called Small and Mighty, as you would have seen. And what we're going to be doing is focusing on small movements. Let me clean my camera. Apologies, I should have done this already every time. Small movements, so you can focus on technique. By now, for those of you who've been coming weekly, some of these moves are going to start to become familiar to you. And so this is an opportunity for you to go deeper into those moves. But without further ado, we will get started. So bringing ourselves onto our backs, doing our regular lying down warm up for now. Just whilst I remember, there is no class next week because it's Easter Friday and I shan't be here. So no class next week, but I'll try and get a recording up so that you've still got something nice and new to work with. So starting with our pelvic curls, we've got our feet flat onto the floor, knees heels roughly underneath the creases of your knees, and to have the collarbone smiling nice and wide here. I'm really thinking about our base of support. So try and broaden the shoulders so that the collarbone is smiling nice and wide. And then from here, I want you to think about just keeping the thighs parallel. So try to keep those two kneecaps facing over the first two toes of the feet. So coming into our pelvic curl, breathing in and then exhaling, bringing the spine up. So we tuck the tailbone towards the nose. We try and hold this tuck in the tailbone as we push the hips up towards the ceiling. Remembering, don't let the toes lift. So keep all 10 toes pushing down into your mat. Take an inhale here. And exhale, start to bring the spine back down, but hold the hips up high for as long as you can. Still holding that curl in the pelvis, bringing the spine down piece by piece. We'll do 2 more like this and we're going to add on. So we take an in-breath, exhale, peeling the spine up. Using the arms on the floor to see if that helps you to get some more height through the spine. Breathing in. Exhaling, bringing ourselves down. Now watch here, because this is where the thighs are going to want to come out to the side. So keep the kneecaps facing forward. All right, transition on this last one here. So we're going to take the spine up again. Tailbone tucks towards the nose. We lift the hips. Before we go, just get this sense. You can actually feel your hips. So just make sure that the hips feel as level as they can be. So really pushing into the soles of the feet to have the hips high. Now you're going to hold your left hip high, but you're going to slightly dip the right hip down towards the floor. It's not going to touch. And you're going to lift that right hip back up again so the hips are level. Other side, left hip dips down towards the floor. Push into the soles of your feet to lift that left hip so hips are both level again. We'll go one more time each side. Right hip dips down, the thighs are nice and parallel. Push in to lift the hips. Last time on this left side. And the push is coming from underneath the soles of the feet. Hold here for an inhale. And then exhale, bring the spine all the way down. We're going to do another round of those. I'm going to give you another option now for those of you who want to try something slightly different. Option 1, hands onto the floor. Option 2, hands up towards the ceiling, palms facing each other. So we go again, we peel the spine up. So I'm going to go for your option 2. You play around with it, see how you feel. We've taken away a base of support, so we're really relying on the soles of the feet here. Okay, we're going to dip the right hip down towards the floor. Push all the way up, up, up. Shoulders on the floor. Left hip dips down, right hip stays high. Pushing through the soles of the feet to lift the hips up level again, knees parallel. And again, right side dips down. Pushing all the way up. Last time the left side. And then pushing both hips up, holding hips high for a deep inhale, all 10 toes down. And then exhale, bringing the spine down piece by piece. Now, don't rush here. Take your time. It's small and mighty. All right, let's do that once more, okay? So you've got 2 options, remember? Go for whatever feels good. Keeping the collarbone nice and wide. Make sure the shoulders are anchored to the floor, top to tip. And we'll go again. Right hip dips down. Exhale, push up. Left hip dips down. Push all the way up. Keep the rib cage down towards your body. One more time each side. Last one of these now. Up, 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 up. I know we've got a special piece on the end, I've just remembered. And then left hip comes up. Now hold here. Remember, you can take your arms down whenever you want. From here, we're going to come up onto our toes. So lifting the heels off the floor. Okay? Ankles facing forward, front of the ankles facing forward. Heels dip down towards the floor. And then we lift the heels up again. 1, touching heels down. Keep the hips high, lifting up 2. Heels come down, lifting up 3. Let's go to 6. 4, 5. One more time. Don't let those ankles fall to the side. They're facing straight forward. Last one here. Now it's up to you. You can either keep the heels lifted or place the heels back down, but we're going to bring the spine back down to our mat piece by piece. Oh, nice. Let's hug the legs in. From here, in fact, we're going to just rotate the knees away from each other. Just taking those circles as wide as you need them. And then rotating the knees towards each other. So going back to that theme of the option of having the arms up towards the ceiling or having the arms out into T position on this next. So I'm going to keep the legs in tabletop. This is spine twist supine. You might remember this move. So we've got the legs glued together. I'll give you 2 options. One option is arms up towards the ceiling. That's going to be slightly more challenging because if we have our arms down to the floor, when we start to twist the legs, we've got a bit more base or support with the arms. So either version, shoulders anchored to the floor. And that's a really tiny movement. You're going to tilt both legs to your right. Just glance down at your kneecap and make sure that your left knee hasn't fallen behind your right knee. So lift that left hip as you twist. And you're going to exhale, bring the legs back through center. So as we tilt to our left, we need to lift this right hip up. And then come back through center. Keep going. We're going to neaten it up. So tilt to your right. Now I want you to think about your rib cage. Make sure your rib cage isn't pushing up to the ceiling. So as my legs tilt to the right, my rib cage is drawing back in the opposite direction. And back to center. So I'm talking more today. And what that's going to give us the opportunity to do here is to slow the movement down. So don't rush back into center. Connect to the side of the body that you're twisting towards and bring the legs back through center using that connection. Okay, we're off on the right again. Lifting the left hip. Kneecaps level, as level as they can be. Left side of the waist. Draws the legs back through center. One more time to the left here. Lifting that right hip away from the floor. Back to center. Well done. Let's hug the knees in towards the chest. Really hug the thighs towards the body here just to get the lower back to stretch out a bit because we're bringing the legs up for the next few moves actually. So first move, we're just going to do some ankle mobilization. I've been loving this. So we are going to lift the legs up towards the ceiling. Don't worry about having your knees straight. I'm going to just lift the screen a bit so you can actually see what my feet are doing. There we are, just about. So hold on to the back of your thighs. Knees are as long, as straight or as bent as you need them to. Tailbone is anchored to the floor. Now we're going to bring the feet together and you're going to flex the feet so that the toes are pointing towards you. And then you're going to point your toes so that they're facing up towards the ceiling. In fact, my feet aren't touching, but they are parallel. There's a slight gap between my feet. So ankles closing at the front, ankles opening at the front. Think about the heels pushing up towards the ceiling and then the heels looking down towards the floor. Let's alternate. So my right foot toes towards the nose, left foot toes pointing up and switch. And switch. And switch. Relax the shoulders. I've just caught mine. Now see how fast you can speed this up. trying to keep the movement nice and even. So it's not about how fast, actually, how fast we do this. It's about, can this be nice and coordinated as we do it? Take it as fast as you can, with coordination. Okay, slow it down again. Same move. This time we're bringing the heels together. So my feet are gone out in this little V shape here, but I'm also opening up through my hips. So my thighs are rotating outwards, which then brings my feet into a V shape. And we go again. Heels are together this time. Toes point towards the nose. Toes up towards the ceiling. Heels together. Toes towards the nose. Toes up towards the ceiling. Did I say heels earlier? Toes towards the nose. Toes pointing up. Keep going. So we're getting more into the sides of the ankles here. I think you know where we're going with this. We're going to go alternate again. So 1 foot flex, 1 foot pointed, and switch. We're sitting that V shape. Flex point, flex point, flex point. Let's speed it up. Doot, 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 doot. Keep going. Try and keep the coordination. At some point, 1 foot starts to move a bit faster. Or let's slow it down again. Try and keep that V shape in the feet. The ankles are going to be talking to us now. And again, let's speed it up one last time. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Let's hug the legs in. Ooh. Let's just circle the knees, keeping these together this time, circling them in one direction. And then circling other direction. If your ankles weren't warm before, they're going to be warm now. Let's lift the legs back up towards the ceiling again. Just bear with me. So last time, legs up towards the ceiling. This time, we're going to take the hands, interlace the fingers, hold onto the back of the head. Now, if you want to, you can keep your head and chest down. Option 2, to lift the head and chest. I want this movement to be so tiny. The tailbone's going to stay onto the floor. So we're not tucking the tailbone here. The tailbone stays down. But what you're going to do is you're going to allow your thighs to slightly drift away from you. So your thighs come away from the body. You're going to draw into your center and bring the thighs back towards you without lifting the tailbone. And again, so I inhale here. Exhale. Let's do 4 more. Just think about the thighs drifting to and from. I think we've got 1 more here. Nice, coming down with control. Let's hug the legs in. All right, we're going into our side series now. How are we doing for time? We're doing good. So going into a side series today. We'll do side series in Pilates. If it's a full class, you'll always get a side series. I can't remember if we did one last week, but we're definitely doing one this week. We're going to lie down. We did lie down onto our bicep, palm facing up towards the ceiling. Now, often you'll see us bend the bottom knee out in front. Today, we're going to bring the bottom knee out behind us. So my knee right now is in line with my hip. I'm lifting my foot up to my hip height, and I'm keeping the foot nice and relaxed. We're going to take that top leg forward. It's not going to come too far forward because we don't want the bottom knee to shift. And we're going to take the leg all the way back, back, back. And then forward, 2. 3, anchor the lower leg to the floor. Open up the front of the hip when you take the leg back. Okay. Keep that bottom leg nice and stable onto the floor. Taking the leg forward. You can take the leg back and then hold the leg out behind you. Keeping the thigh out behind you, you're going to bend your heel in towards your bottom and then reach the leg long. So the thigh staying back there, the heel comes in towards your bottom and we reach the leg long. That's 2. Here's 3. Keep holding the leg back. Last one of these. Nice. Now hold the leg out behind you. Keep the thigh reaching out behind you. Once the thigh's back there, it's going to be 8 tiny circles coming forward. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then 8 tiny circles in the other direction as well. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hang in there. One last move. Leg comes down to the floor. Still holding the thigh up behind you. Lift the leg up. It doesn't have to touch the floor. Just keep that controlled range of movement. 2, 3. Keep reaching the thigh back. 4. 2 more. We're done this side. Last one. Oh, let's do a little hold here just for 3 seconds. 2 and 1. And well done. Both knees come in towards the body. Nice. Let's do the same on the other side. So now you know what's coming with the side series. Good news. I've got more space on this side. I should have moved that cushion really. Just want to make sure that I'm on camera. That's it. So bottom knee bends out behind you. Try and draw your rib cage back. So it's really easy to want to push the rib cage forward, draw rib cage back. Top foot nice and relaxed. Arms here for your support. Reach the leg forward. Reach the leg right out behind you. We can get a nice opening with this knee, pointing, bending backwards here. All the legs bending backwards. 2. 3. 2 more. Ready? We're going to hold the leg out behind us. Hold the thigh pointing out behind you. Heel comes in towards your body. Leg reaches out. 1. Heel comes in. Keep reaching the thigh back. 2. Don't let the knee come up too high. Keep it height of the hip. Nice. One more of these. We hold the leg out behind us. Hold, hold, hold. 8 tiny circles forward. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reverse circles. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the thigh out behind you. Last move. Leg comes down to the floor. Lift up to ceiling. 1. Touching towards the floor. Doesn't have to touch. 2, 3, 4. My foot's shaking. Last one. Oh, and we're done that side. Well done. Hug the legs in. I always find it so interesting what one side does versus the other. This is my weaker hip, so there was definitely a lot more effort there. Last move. Okay. We're on to our tummies. We're finishing up in extension. I'm going to shuffle my mat over there a bit so you can see me. So we're lying onto our tummy. Just be careful as you bring yourselves down here. Really, really basic move. Again, sticking with the small and mighty theme. Legs are glued together. We're going to have the hands onto the floor, forehead resting on the back of your top hand. I'm just going to lift my head so I can speak to you. So you're going to have your forehead resting on the top of your back hand, your back of your top hand. And then you're going to imagine that your hands are glued to the floor. So your head's down, my head's up. You're going to imagine that your hands are glued to the floor. And I want you to see what it's like to, you're trying to pull your elbows away from you. So this is us just relaxing down. But here we're trying to pull the elbows away from each other, but the hands are stuck. That's part 1. Part 2, see what it's like to try and pull the hands towards you. So again, my hands are stuck, but I'm trying to pull the hands towards me, but without the hands actually moving. So we're just creating traction underneath the forearms, elbows pulling out, the spine is long. I'm bringing my head chest down. Inhaling to lift the head chest. Keep that traction under the arms, shoulders away from the ears, and then lowering down. So for back extension, relax the front of the body. Second thing is to keep the back of the neck long. So I'm looking down and forward. I'm not looking up. Down and forward. Spine is long. And lowering down. Okay, we're doing one more of these. And we're going to finish big. That was the one more. Reaching the arms out in front of you. Ignore my leg, I've got cramp. Reaching the arms out in front of you. Shoulders away from ears. Now here we go. We're going to push into the left hand. That's going to lift the right arm off the floor. As high as you can comfortably, shoulders away from the ears. Lift the left arm off the floor as well. Hold here. Right arm comes down. Left arm comes down. Lower the head and chest. That's the move. Lifting. One arm lifts, shoulders away from the ears. Other arm lifts. Arm comes down. Arm comes down. Lower down. Last one. Lifting shoulders away from the ears. Let's take our time, make this good. So when we lift one arm, we're not leaning to one side, we're staying dead center. We lift the other arm and we're staying dead center. We're trying not to lose the height of the body. Bring one arm down. Woo. Other arm comes down. Lower the head and chest. Well done. Take your time to push yourself into a rest position. We'll finish up with some cats. I didn't plan to do cats, but because we finished quite big, we'll do some cat stretches together. Into a 4-point kneel. We'll just do 2 cats because I want to get some stretches in today. So just tuck in the tailbone under. You're welcome to come back and do some more cats afterwards. Pushing out opposite direction. Last one, rounding the spine up. Try and create some height in between the tips of the shoulder blades, looking towards your hips. Reverse in opposite direction. Back into your flat back. Okay, last piece. We're just going to do some stretches here, just really for the hips because we did work into the glutes. So I just want to show you these quick stretches that I like to do at the end of most of my classes, actually. So onto our backs. We're going to cross one ankle over a knee. So let's go same side, actually. We're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee and then hug the legs in. It's your figure of 4. Shoulders relaxed. Hopefully feeling the stretch into the hips. Sometimes people might feel it in their hamstring. We'll switch to the same on the other side. So right ankle over the left knee. No, sorry, left ankle over the right knee. I was doing so well with my left and rights. So the other side. And again, just hug the legs in. What you might find when you hold a stretch after a while, you're able to go slightly deeper into the stretch. But I always say ease into your stretch. Don't try and go to the deepest stretch straight away. Give the muscles time to relax and let go. And then you might be able to get a deeper stretch as you find that relaxation happens. Nice. One more deep breath here. Exhaling as my tummy rumbles. I'm definitely ready for my lunch. I'm going to come all the way up and you are all done. Thank you so much for joining me. No class next week, but I will have a recording up for you to carry on with your practice. And then we're back the following week, back to our normal time of 12:15. Thank you so much for joining. See you soon.